All right, hello neighbors, and this is gonna be a little bit more casual of a video. We're down by the creek here, having a beautiful spring day, and this is gonna be aimed at the beginners and the intermediates and the advanced level students, so basically everybody, although maybe a little bit more for the folks who aren't as far down the course, but hopefully there'll be something for everybody. And it's gonna be talking about internal repertoire, okay? And I was just trying to tune my mandolin. Sometimes when you play your mandolin strings dead, they're hard to tune. That's one way you know it's time to get a new set on there. But anyway, another couple months and I'll have another set on mine. Just kidding, I get a little bit lazy, you know. It takes a little bit of time to do all kind of stuff. Anyway, so all right. So you've heard me talk about this before, probably, but oftentimes the internal repertoire is the place that's the weakest, okay? So we all have all these songs inside of us. We all know Mary Had a Little Lamb. Oh, here he goes again with Mary Had a Little Lamb. Well, why do you think I'm going again on Mary Had a Little Lamb? Like, I don't want to do Mary Had a Little Lamb, especially not 3 different keys, especially not with no shuffle lick, especially not counting 8th notes, all this kind of stuff, especially not counting my 16th notes, especially not with double stops. Like, well, if you can't do that stuff, then why do you think you're going to be able to play cool other stuff?
You have no business.
Oh, there he goes again, talking about Mary Had a Little Lamb, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and Coming Around the Mountain. Okay, well, I talk about this all the time because if you can't play those easily in G, A, and B flat confidently without having to stress about them, then how are you going to play other stuff that's less familiar, you know, confidently if you can't do the easy stuff? So internal repertoire is where it's at. You start with the very simplest of the simple, Mary Had a Little Lamb, and we're gonna get progressing through this, you know, a little bit faster than usual, maybe. So Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb, fleece was white as snow. Okay, that was just kind of rushing through it. It's like, how do you even find this the first starting note? Well, you gotta kind of, you know, strum your G chord and see if you can sing it. Mary had a little lamb. Some people are going to be better at that than others, okay? But Mary Had a Little Lamb, just for fast forwarding through this, starts on the major third, which is the second fret of the A. D, 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 D. Some people think, oh, I'm in the key of G. Maybe it starts on the G. Mary had a little lamb. And then they don't know if that sounds good or not. Maybe they do. Mary had a little lamb. But anyway, this one starts on the second fret of the A. That's the major third. Mary had a little lamb, twinkle, twinkle, little star. We're putting the cart before the horse. We need to go back and make sure we can get the shuffle in there, okay? So Mary had, but even before we do that, we gotta get our 8th notes. This is internal repertoire. We gotta be able to do all this stuff. This is just the very beginning, basic stuff. We're gonna get to more fancy stuff a little bit later. But just doing your basic vocal melody. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb, where those notes hold out for a long time. That's the vocal melody. Then you go with your 8th notes, counting the quarter note as a strong beat. 1 and, we're not even getting to counting yet. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb, fleece was white as snow. Where you're playing each 8th note, okay? And then from there, it'd be good if you can count that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And of course that might be real easy, it might not be so easy. So then the next thing we do is put our shuffle to it, which is definitely not so easy if you've never done it before. Talked about this in a recent video. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a... And that's just like the super beginner way to do it. You know, if you were more advanced and you still wanted to work on your internal repertoire, be like, okay, how can I make, you know, like Mozart, he'd be able to play like Twinkle Little Star, make it so cool or whatever. We want to be able to at least go in that direction a little bit. You know, just jam out. But before we do, please like and subscribe. Go ahead and hit that little bell there for the notifications. You'll get all the good stuff from Noya Mountain Music. Thank you. And please consider becoming a patron on patreon.com/Noya Mountain Music. So even if you're an advanced player, you can still be working on your internal repertoire to get more better, okay? All right, so, and then you go into Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, same thing. Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, I wonder what you are. That little line piece there, then the 4th line, same as the first. That's your vocal melody. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. so you play like the quarter note on 4 instead of 4 and then go on to your eighth notes where you play every eighth note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Maybe you are counting, that is a good thing. And then see if you can do your shuffle. All right, so shuffle over Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, not so easy, because it's hard to go 1 and a 2 and a, unless you're flattening out your ring finger to get from the 5th fret of the D to the 5th fret of the A. In this case, and in lots of cases like this, just make it easier on yourself. Just play eighth notes, 1 and then start the shuffle where it's easy, coming down the A string, 5, 3, 2. 1 and 2 and a, well, it goes to the E first, 3 and do your shuffles on those easy ones. 1 and 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1, etc., etc. And you can even get to play your 16th notes on this one. Although it'd be hard to, again, do that jump from 5th fret of the D to 5th fret of the A. You can do just those with simple eighth notes if you want. And you can count that if you want to. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a, we're going fast because we don't want to bore you too much. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a, okay, and then find that on the lower octave. We didn't even talk about that or the different positions. You know, it's very important to be able to do that. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a, and these are just the easiest of the easy. Then we moved on to something real hard, like You Are My Sunshine, okay? How do we do that? You are my sunshine. So the first interval for the downbeat is going to be the major third, 2nd fret of the A. So it's not the G. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. If you started it there, that might be like a baritone part, bluegrass speaking. But your pickup notes, O5 on the D string, open A, then your 2nd fret of the A. And 4 and 1. So if you pick it out from there, it's not as easy as you might think it is, so please don't take my sunshine away. And to play your eighth notes, every single, beat, and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. If you are counting, it is good. It never 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Nice little tag. That's not the vocal melody, obviously, on the end. That's a very musical manly thing to do. Okay, so then you add your shuffle, which is really hard to do for You Are My Sunshine. If you can't do this, this is the stuff that you need to be, I think, that you need to be working on every single day with your internal repertoire to get more better at the mandolin. Okay, so putting your shuffle to this melody is not easy. It's especially not easy if you're counting and then you're playing the steady shuffle the whole entire way. A lot of times I encourage people to do the moving notes where they move instead of just hang. You are my sunshine, that one hangs. And then my only sunshine, those are the movers. And so you don't necessarily have to play your shuffle with those movers. You can just play those as single downstrokes. Da, 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 shuffle, down, 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 and then shuffle again. I hope that makes sense. So just making it easy for yourself. Play the downstrokes where they're easy, where the line moves. You don't have to worry about doing the shuffle the whole time, but if you want extra practice, you can do that and have a challenging time figuring out how to keep the shuffle especially uniform throughout this whole vocal, melody, all right, which would be like this. And 4 and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. Now if I was more advanced, if I was like a solid intermediate player, I might play like this. That's a little bit advanced, intermediate. But just play the basic vocal melody with double stop. Or maybe 16th notes. And then, if it was advanced, especially with this channel and the whole Monroe idea, you you start adding devices. It's internal repertoire that we're using. We're not playing some Monroe tune. So you can practice your device work on the internal repertoire. It's very, very good work. And to be able to count all that too, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, etc., etc. Very good. And this is just the key of G. You can take all of this stuff, and it's really important not to be from the redundancy department of redundancy, but you can take all the stuff from G to A, okay? And then also in a closed position, I often recommend either G sharp or B flat to make something difficult to be able to play out of a closed position. All right, so internal repertoire. This is the thing that people usually don't do. Usually on a first lesson, I'll be like, make yourself a big list when you sit down with your coffee of every single melody you can think of, starting with Mary Had a Little Lamb, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, London Bridge is Falling Down, Michael, row your boat to shore. She'll be coming around the mountain, exactly, thank you. And, You Are My Sunshine, This Land Is Your Land. Okay, I'm bringing home a baby bumblebee, anything you think of. The Jeopardy theme song, Gilligan's Island, Amazing Grace, okay? Like the Flintstones might be kind of hard. The Simpsons might be kind of hard. Andy Griffith, maybe I already said that. TV theme songs, anything you can think of. Happy Birthday, that's a hard one. Okay, make yourself a big list of them. Jingle Bells, all their Christmas songs that you might know. Hey Jude, Yesterday, anything you could think of. Honky Tonk Badonka-Tonk, if you know that song. I was trying to think of the other one, the Billy Ray Cyrus. Don't Tell My Heart, My Achy Breaky Heart. If you lived in the 80s, you might know that song. It's just a melody that gets stuck in your head. And so hopefully you can catch my drift. Almost everybody can think of like 10 melodies that they know. To be able to pick those out in G and in A and in G sharp and in B flat, to be able to pick the vocal melody out. And that's a hard part if you've never done it before. What note do I start on? Is it the 1, the 3, or the 5? How do the pickup notes work? Each one of these exercises on all the songs will teach you something. It's just hacking through it, and this is what you want to be engaging with, the process of teaching yourself. Teaching you to fish for yourself is my job. So I put me out of a job, and that means I've done my job well, ultimately. Teaching you to fish for yourself, so you can not only fish out Mary Had a Little Lamb, but you can fish out Jerusalem Riz. Listen to a Monroe recording, slow it down, pick it out the same way, and to be able to count it and to be able to transpose it. This is what Pillar 2 internal repertoire work is all about, okay? So that might be enough to be chewing on. We haven't even gotten into the Saints Go Marching In, or like Your Love Is Like a Flower, or Blue Ridge Cabin Home, but that can be stuff that you're working on too. And we haven't even gotten to like dibble dabbles and all that kind of stuff. Oh, tell me your love is like a flower. Playing like boodly doodly. That's a good thing to do, not that you would want to do that, but be able to understand how that works, to be able to arpeggiate melodies. To be able to use little passage fragments, scale fragments, and arpeggiation to color up and embellish your melodies. This is all stuff that you can start to learn from Mary Had a Little Lamb. Different registers. We haven't talked about different registers, but different octaves. All this stuff is internal repertoire practice. So I encourage y'all to all connect with it on a daily basis. 3 pillars of practice: grunt work, scales, arpeggios, patterns, exercises. Pillar 2, internal repertoire. Make a list of all the songs you know, play them as much as you can so you can really get flossy. And to be able to play a simple melody nicely is one of the hardest things to do on the mandolin. And then pillar 3 is picking stuff out that you don't know by ear. So listening to it so you can hum it, and then breaking it down phrase by phrase. Because if you have the shape of the melody in your mind before you start to try to learn it, that's gonna really help you a whole lot. So anyway, hope you have enjoyed this video. Beautiful spring day. I'd like to thank my wife for videography. And if you like the channel, please like and subscribe. It'll help with the algorithm, all that kind of stuff. Leave a little comment about what you like. And if you would really like to support the channel, please think about becoming a Noya Mountain Music patron at patreon.com/Noya Mountain Music. And muchas gracias to all the folks who are supporting the Noya Mountain Music Patreon. And we'll catch you on down the line. Lots of love from sunny Charlotte.